Greetings and welcome back to City Skylines. So the people that have been on my channel for quite a while will probably know that I often like to play my games with a certain challenge involved. So I like to at least have to think about what I do and not just put things randomly and have it all work. So I did find that a regular hard mode just wasn't good enough. It wasn't really a challenge. And so, since last episode, I've been assembling a whole bunch of mods from the Steam workshop that will enhance the gameplay quite a lot. It will make the game a lot more challenging, but it will also be balanced. At least that is what I am striving for. You are able to find all the mods that I'm using on the Steam workshop. As I have made a collection, you will find a link in the description, or I also might make a comment about it. Some of you may have already seen it, as I have made a comment about it in one of the earlier videos. And the mod pack is by no means final, so I will be adding or removing mods as I see fit in order to make the gameplay experience even better. Anyway, let's go over to some of the things I have changed and some things you should watch at when I unpause the game. So one thing I did add was a mod that pauses the game when you load, so I was just able to load it and it pauses, which is very handy. Right, so one of the major things that I added is that all the maintenance and the building costs and all of that sort of stuff have all doubled. So here you can still see it at the regular amount, which was the way that the vanilla game hard mode works. And when I unpause, you will see all these numbers go up. It will be not quite twice, because the vanilla hard mode does increase costs by 25%, so it will almost be twice as expensive. Another thing that I added was, as I mentioned before, I didn't like the amount of garbage that people produced, so I got myself a mod from the workshop that lowers the amount of garbage produced by twice the amount. So it halves the amount of garbage, which is nice. This will in turn also allow me to lower the maintenance cost of all the garbage, so it balances all out. Another one is that I added a mod that slows the aging time by 2 times, so the amount of dead people, from aging at least, will be halved, which is also good. And the nice thing about all of this is that there will be a lot less hearses and garbage trucks all over your town, so that does lower traffic by a little bit at least. So yes, I guess those are the major things. I will be talking about the minor things as well. So let us unpause, and as you will be able to notice, my income will be going in the dark red here. Let's speed up things. Oh yes, and I also have a big worker shortage. I will be handling that soon enough. So I don't have enough uneducated workers for all these people. Oh yeah, another one is that I downloaded a fix for the commercial demand. The issue was that these parks, all parks, pretty much contributed to the commercial demand, and the mod fixes that thing. So you will be seeing this newly built garden district have some commercial buildings. And one thing that also improves is that you will be getting, oh, it's at minus 21 now. It's quite a lot. That's actually a lot more than I expected. No wait, that's right, because all this garbage here is now costing me a lot of money. So basically what I'm gonna be doing is, and I'm gonna be doing it now because I will be losing a lot of money. Luckily I had a lot of money, so let's lower this to at least about 100%. And also I should be upping the taxes by a lot. Let's start off with putting everything on 12%. Now I can also put commercial taxes on 12%, and the commercial will grow significantly now. I will be getting quite a bit of money from that. And let's see what we get. They should all be going up now, which is good. And slowly but surely you will see the city stabilize as I move around all the budget sliders and taxes. and all of that sort of stuff, which is very much the way I like it. I like to have, as I mentioned, a challenge in my game, and I will probably need to sacrifice certain services in order to keep the critical ones operational. So, and the nice thing about this is that you will also, if you play the game on a hard mode like this, is that you actually learn about the game. You start to learn what things actually do and which things are very significant. So I'm almost in the green now, but I'm not quite there. So let's go over what is critical. Power is critical, water is critical, and healthcare is critical. You don't really have an option here. You need to make sure that all these things are properly supplied, because if there's not enough power, people will at least start complaining and their health might decrease because they just don't have power for all their convenient things. Same with water. If you lower the water amount, you will get unhealthy citizens, and this all goes hand in hand with the healthcare budget. So if your water would drop, you will probably need to up the budget for healthcare. But yes, basically means that all these three things you need to keep optimal. Let's first make sure that... So we are at minus 2,000 a week, which is not good. So let's pause for a moment and let's take a look what we could actually decrease. So these things are critical. Pollution is actually also... garbage is actually also quite critical. Let's take a look here. So these incinerators should be able to keep up. Yes, okay, so they are burning a lot of garbage now. And for now it's gonna cost me quite a bit because I want to keep 3 of them operational so that I can get rid of all the stuff in these landfills. Let's empty one of these. Actually, I guess yeah, let's empty this one. I should be able to get rid of one landfill eventually. I am burning about 60,000 per week. And I think one landfill has about 6 million. That could be about it, 6 or 7 million. So that means I will need about 100 weeks or about 2 years to get rid of one landfill. I think that's decent. Right. Now, where can I do budget cuts? So we went over the critical ones, then you have the high priority ones, but not so much critical. You have the fire department and police department. Those are important, but you can do some budget cuts there. For example, fire department, the worst thing that will happen is some buildings will burn down. That's not great, but it's not the worst thing that can happen. It will not make your town collapse. It will just make it a little more difficult to manage and people will be somewhat unhappy. And then you also have the police department. So if you cut the police department, you will obviously get a lot more crime, which is not good. And it will, everything kind of interlocks and synergizes because a lot of all these things are linked to happiness. If your happiness is low, you will get a lot of crime. If crime is high, you will get a lot of unhappiness. So you also gotta make sure that people stay happy. How do you do that? Well, I have a lot of parks. However, seeing as all the maintenance has gone up by quite a bit, well, it's not that bad. It cost me about 3,000, but I can now easily cut back on the parks. Let's say, let's put it to 75%. Also, we got education. It is not critical. It is very much optional. So let's cut this one back to 80%. And as I mentioned before, I do need plenty of uneducated workers for these farmlands. And these farms, they do not level up. They only need uneducated people. So keeping my people stupid is very much the way to go in this case until I get some proper industry or some different industry. Now let's take a look. We are... it's getting better now. And we should be getting more commercial here, which will increase the amount of tax that we get from commercial buildings. As you can see, it's up to 2,000-3,000 now. So that's very, very good. So the only crisis, I guess, is that we don't have enough workers. I will be fixing that soon as I will be building more residential space. But for now, I'm kind of waiting for everything to stabilize. Because being at minus 400 or being in the red or at about break even is not great. It's fine enough to manage your town that way, but if you want to expand, you need extra money. Now, of course, one extra way of getting extra money is getting loans. So these things actually have a decent use now. If you want a big cash injection for a bigger project, you can use loans, and you will also very much need loans if you start out with a new game with all the mods that I'm using. And it is doable. It is very difficult. You will need to know what you are doing, because if you don't, then you will utterly fail if you use all of these mods when you start out. But it is doable. I tried it out several times and it actually works. Of course, growth will be considerably slower than normally, but that's what I intended. It's just a different way of playing the game. If you wanna just go nuts and build a lot of stuff, then I suggest you do not download these mods, or at least not all of those mods, because, well, growth will be slow. The nice thing about slow growth is that your town will also look a lot more realistic, I think, because you build piece by piece as a normal town would. And yes, you will see that in your town layout. Anyway, we're still in the red, so that's not good. Let's see where we can cut more budget. Perhaps garbage. Let's put it down to 90. That should give us a little more money. As you can see, we are in the green. And what are we doing with burning? Yes, okay, so that cut the incinerator capacity by quite a bit, which is not great, because I want to get rid of a landfill. Okay, let's up this budget again. I gotta find some other source of income. Now, luckily, commercial is still growing, so that's great. Let's cut the fire department a little bit. I guess I could also cut on healthcare, because I did lower the amount of dead people, because the aging has been slowed down. So I could cut down on healthcare a little bit. Let's put it to 80. Although then again, healthcare doesn't seem to be all that expensive at the moment, seeing as I only have one cemetery and one small hospital. So cutting back on that will not give me all that much money. I still got a lot of commercial demand. Let's see how this place is doing. Oh yeah, and let's take another look at traffic. So you will see that things here are a little on the difficult side. Now, one thing I will be doing is get to Mill Park and ban heavy traffic. This will make it so all these heavy trucks will go from this way. It should work out. I tried it before. I did a few test runs from this save with all the new mods to make sure that everything works properly, so the town should not totally collapse. It should all work properly. Let's take a look at districts. Gotta make sure that the districts are aligned nicely so that everyone can be supplied. So this district seems to be fine, and all the heavy traffic will be able to move from this way. So that means no heavy traffic will be moving on this piece of road. However, the ones that supply Victoria Square will still be able to get in. Seeing as Victoria Square, let's make sure that they have access to all these roads. Alright, that should be good. Now they can run around down here. That should keep all these stores supplied. We are in the green now, but not by much. So if I want to grow, I gotta get more money. So let's cut the expenses for parks just a little bit more. Let's put it to 60%. People might start complaining now. The land value will drop. As you can see, I am now back to a blue land value. I used to have a bit of greenish here, so that's one of the sacrifices you have to take if you use all of these mods. Oh yeah, and another thing I was gonna do is get rid of this park, because I didn't think it fitted with the rest. It seemed to have too much concrete, so I'm gonna be that should actually give me a little bit more money, because I cut something from the budget. I'm actually in the red again. That's not good. But it's not a lot of red. Let's in the meantime try and fix this park so that it looks a little bit more as it should. Let's see. Yes, there we go. Some dirt roads. Let's turn off snapping. And we got a little bit of a road here. Let's move this one this way. I actually don't think I need to do all that much, except for maybe planting a few trees. Yeah, and I forgot to modify the tree brush thing, so I still don't really have it working as it should. So I'm just using the regular tree brush, one with the one from the vanilla game. As you can see, I'm just putting them by hand. We got a nice little urban forest going on here, or as they should call it, a park. Alright, I think that looks fine. Okay, now let's take another look at my expenses. So I'm pretty much at break even now, which means I am not making enough money to try and expand the town. Luckily, I do have quite a bit of money left, but it's not enough. So, fire department seems to be very expensive. Let's take a look. Do we really need that much? Let's take a look at how many... Yeah, as you can see, no of the fire engines are actually in use. And neither are they here. So I'm gonna severely cut the budget for the fire department. I'm gonna be lowering it to 50%. That should be more than enough. Let's see, we still got 2 fire engines there, and we got plenty here. If I can find the building. Here we go. Yeah, we still got 7, which should be more than enough. And as I mentioned before, the fire department is not critical. It is important, but not critical. And there's some other things that I changed. Yeah, for one, the color of the pollution stuff. I did download a few of those mods. I tested a few out. You may see it in this color this episode. You may see it in another color another episode, as I just try and find one that I find pleasing. I think this one is okay. It's just looks like a bit of mud, which makes sense because polluted water is not supposed to look like it's coming from, I don't know where it was supposed to be coming from, the whole dark purple thing. So it should still look like water, but at least here it kind of simulates how all the water stirs up the river banks, and you get a whole mud stream going. And this one, well yeah, I guess it simulates bad plant growth, dying plants. I used to have the red-brown one, but I think it was a bit too severe. Right, we are making a bit of money again, but still not enough. However, we do have plenty of commercial demand, and I guess we should be expanding some of the commercial areas. I guess I could expand this way. However, I would need to get rid of a bit of this residential. So let's start off with building a bit of residential. Also, all the building prices have been increased by twice the amount. So building roads will cost you quite a lot. Building highways will cost you a lot more. So building a huge highway network will be something you might want to take out a loan for, so that you have big cash injection, so that you can actually complete such a big project. Right, let's try and build some stuff. Some regular roads. Now, what are we gonna do? I'm not entirely sure yet. I've mostly been working on the budget, and I haven't really been thinking about what I wanna build. And now we get a whole bunch of land value issues, which makes sense because I did... Oh yes, that's the problem. I lowered all the parks. The budget for the parks, let's up it again. So yeah, that's one of the sacrifices you have to make. Now of course I had this town all settled, and then I introduced mods which changed the gameplay. So usually this sort of issue would not arise if you were just playing the game from the start with all these mods, because none of these guys would ever have reached a residence level with this land value. So this is just a problem that arises because I introduced these mods. I upped this to 80%. Hopefully that increases the land values again, slowly. But this is the way I like the game. I gotta move around these sliders, which I have done quite a lot already, and now I'm gonna have to do it even more. This is pretty much the way I like to play the game. Right, now I was gonna build some residential. So, I haven't really done all that much productive yet this episode. I've just been talking about all the stuff I added. Let's turn off snapping mode. I guess I could add something down here, perhaps. I could also expand this region. I'm gonna be continuing these roads. It's gonna be a very busy intersection. I don't like the way that it's curved. But oh well, it is what it is. This one is curved as well. Let's see. I can extend this one. And it's curved as well. Well, that shouldn't be. Let's get rid of this part. Let's extend this road down here. At least that one is straight. Now that one will be... Let's do that again. That won't work. Alright. I'll get there eventually. Now this might line up. No, it doesn't. Alright, I'm gonna get rid of this little road here. A 5-way intersection. Actually, it's a 6-way intersection. That's not very good. I guess that may be the issue. So I'm gonna be... Oh, and I demolished this one without pausing. I'm gonna be rebuilding this one. Like this. And I'm just gonna be... making some blocks like this. That one will be curved. I don't like that. Alright, that's good enough. Now I have some room for residential. I have some room for commercial. Let's try and fill up these things. And hopefully some things start to grow. I may need to put down some more water pipes. I'm gonna have to wait and see how things evolve. So we got this. This might be residential. Actually, this needs to be commercial. No idea why I didn't fill in that one. Now all these people next to the commercial areas will probably complain about all the noise. They will remain probably low level for the time being. But that's alright. Okay, let's stick with that. Let's take a look at the water. It's not that bad. Let's just connect things. Alright, so it seems like residential demand is now gone. How are these guys doing? Very bad. So yeah, they all left their houses because of the low land value. So I might demolish them. Or I could wait for the land value to go back up. Let's take a look. So it's a little darker blue now again because I did up the budget for the parks. We are in the green because we got a few more things going on here. Let's take a look at traffic. So I did ban heavy traffic from Mill Park, which means all traffic goes from this side of the park. I guess we could start calling this one Mill Park, seeing as it's the only park I have. The only big park. So all the heavy traffic goes this way. And it's still doing okay. You might sometimes see a little traffic jam down here, but it solves itself eventually. Normally I was gonna make another road down here to make sure that all these guys do not have to cross this intersection. Let's do that right away. Sometimes it's hard to remember what I did for YouTube and what I did during my own personal tests. There we go. Now all of these guys coming from here that want to go this way should take this route, and this means this little intersection here will be a little less busy, which means all the traffic from this side can flow through a little easier. That should fix some issues, although I didn't really have all that much of a problem just yet. Now we have a lot of traffic down here. I did mess around with some roundabouts and all that sort of stuff, but it doesn't seem like I need it just yet. And one thing you have to keep in mind is that if you try and solve one problem, it may just move the problem to some other intersection. So it doesn't always solve all problems. This one is getting some very high traffic now. But then again, it is pretty much supplying my whole industrial farm section, which is quite large, I must say. And now, as you can see, this is a dark red, but it's still working. They have to stop sometimes. I know this could be done quite a bit more efficient. I will get to that eventually. But however, with all the mods that I have now, I do have to keep in mind that every big project will take a lot of money, and it will be a little more difficult to get back all that money. Right, let's take a look at the districts. I guess I could make this into Mill Park to get rid of heavy traffic. Although it doesn't really matter all that much in this section. We still have land value issues. And the money is... yes, well, it's still leaving the bank faster than I can get it back. Let's take a look what else I can do. Oh boy. So, I could cut back education a little bit, but that doesn't really help me all that much. Garbage. How's garbage doing? Ah, this one is actually empty. That's great. Let's get rid of it. And we can start emptying one of these. How are we doing? It's going down. That's excellent. And once I actually get rid of most of these landfills, I could probably lower the garbage budget so that the incineration plants are just able to keep up, because as you can see, I am overspending them quite a bit so that I can get rid of the landfills. So eventually, in about, I guess, 6 years, I should have an even better budget when it comes to garbage. Of course, during that time I may be getting a lot more residents, so the garbage production will go up. Take a look at the cemetery. We still got 500 places. I will probably be needing a new one soon. I guess I'll be building it right here. This will be some sort of cemetery area. I think it looks okay. It'll be somewhere in the middle of the city. That's fine. It's gonna be somewhat similar to this park here, with the exception that this is a park for dead people and that one is a park for living people. Actually, you know, I'm gonna put one down already. If I put it there, I'm locking off that road. I might wanna... I'm probably gonna need to change this place a little bit. See, I could build one there. I could build one there, and would one fit here? I'm not sure. I'm gonna leave a little gap, perhaps, so that I can put down some roads. I'm not sure. Let's leave a gap of 2. Yes, there we go. And that should actually make a lot more people happy. It will increase the strain on the budget a little bit, but it only costs 400 a week and the budget for healthcare is not maxed, so it shouldn't cost me all that much. So we should be totally fine. And we seem to have fixed a few of the worker issues here. So as you can see, I have no complaints here anymore about lack of workers, although I'm not sure if all these ones are maxed. No, they aren't. But they are working, so that's very good, because a working industry pays you taxes, and taxes is what I need to get money. Alright, anyway, I see this episode has gone quite long because of all the new mods introduction, so I'll be ending it here, and next time we can actually try and make a little bit of progress. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.